Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And Al Rosen.
Welcome to CAD-107 Intro to 3D Printing and our weekly Zoom meeting. Next week, we will start our midterm exam, and we've enabled a practice midterm so students can be prepared for the test next week. The practice midterm is available in quizzes and exams. I'm going to change over to a student view and go to quizzes and exams. And so here is the midterm practice exam. You can take it an unlimited number of times. I don't know if it will let me actually take the test. No, it will not. So I'm going to switch back to and go back to the quizzes and exams. Here's our practice exam. And the questions are taken from chapters 1 through 8 of the textbook. And so what we thought we would do would be to make this test geared towards 3D printing terminology from the textbook. And so it's almost like a report in some ways, where you'll need to answer questions like, what is 3D printing? And let's see if I can make this a little bigger. What is 3D printing? Provide a definition and an example. And then you can insert links and things like that. And so when you take this test, you should be able to go through and you should be able to add your comments. And you should also be able to add and insert images. And I'm surprised I can't see my images because I spent some time yesterday putting those images in. So it should be fine, but it's always one thing or another with these exams. Either way, the test is not super difficult. It's 10 questions. It's going to be a total of 100 points. And so this is just basically set up at half value, but we will tweak that by the time we get to next week. It'll ask you questions like, who was Charles W. Hall? What is a Cartesian printer? Give a short answer. And so as we look at things, let's see if my matching one works, because I know I had a picture in there. Yeah, here we go.
It came up.
So, for example, being able to match these different components with the terminology associated with that. So the way the test will go next week will be that you will need to use the honor lock system. So honor lock is the system that has a proctoring setup. And so when you take the exam, you will need a photo identification, which you show to the camera. You'll also need $11 like on a credit card. So you'll need a credit card. You'll need a way to pay for it. I imagine they take other forms of payment, but I'm sure they would probably take a credit card. And what we recommend students to do is to pay the $11 for the semester. And the reason we use the honor lock system is that we need to be able to verify who the students' identities are. And so when you take this exam, it's not going to be super difficult, but on the other side of it, if we don't go and verify who's in the class, then we may have some difficulty. So be prepared for that when you take that. The exam will be available on one day, on the 28th, which is next week, from 12 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. So essentially at midnight on Wednesday morning, or you could call it late Tuesday night, the exam will be active and you can go in there. If you want to take it in the middle of the night, that's fine. I know some people may have kids and they might be like, oh, this is perfect. Everybody's in bed. I can at least get an hour or two where I can take the test. You will have 3 hours to complete the exam. It shouldn't take you more than an hour, but you will have 3 hours to do that and it will be proctored. And so you'll take that exam and then all you do is submit it, and then it will be up to Al and I to go through and grade it. It's not going to be an auto graded exam because the questions are mostly written response. It's going to cover chapter 1, 2, and 3, printer hardware and software, printers and printable materials, printer workflow and software. there will be no drawing part on the midterm exam. We thought about it and we said, you know what, we're going to just leave that off from this standpoint. We could put one on there. We've done it in the past, but being on these pandemic rules, we're going to just stick with textbook type of a traditional test. Okay, let us know if you have any difficulty taking the exam on that day. Plan to be at your computer when you take it, plan to have a webcam, plan to have a photo ID, and plan to have a way to pay for the proctoring service. Okay, with that, is there anything else that I need to talk about, Al, in the midterm practice exam that you can think of?
Just want to let them know that the cost of $11 is a better buy for them, you would say, because then they can do it multiple times, especially when you have a final and they might have another class that might be using the same honor lock. They can still use it over there instead of paying $6.99 piece every time. $11 flat fee is the best buy for it.
Right. We know that things are tough out there right now, but we have to be able to proctor these exams. Otherwise, it just opens the doors to some problems that could happen. So we're doing well with the projects. We're starting to print these as well. I'm typically out at the Skokie campus on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock until 4:30 or by appointment. And you're welcome to come in on one of those days. Please tell us when you're coming. If you are going to come to use the 3D printers. And so we are printing the projects now. And if you want to go and do some hands-on work, send me and Al an email and we'll set you up with an appointment so that we can also be able to get your money's worth out of the course. So the way that this video or this assignment works is that we have a video tutorial. So I've drawn this with AutoCAD and there's multiple steps to it. If we take a look at the drawing itself, that's it right there. It's always nice to put your name on tape dispensers. For some reason, they seem to disappear quite quickly out of my lab. So you should have a whole set of desk organization tools by the end of this class. We also have some other projects that we were working on. Last week, we demonstrated how to do the small box. I added a little bit of logo here and there's some interesting tips and tricks that we can show you in how to do these inserts. But so far, so good. Projects are coming in and they are looking very good. Some of the students are coming in to 3D print them now, so that's also welcome. But make sure that you ping us with an email and let us know when you would like to come out because of the COVID restrictions.
Make sure you have a mask and if you want to, have throwaway gloves.
Yeah, it's pretty safe. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, there's an extra layer of security there. Yep. So this is project 8, lab 8. Looks like they matched up this time. There is a video on how to create that. And then if we look at this lab, this will link to the exercise. And so here's our exercise. Here's the finished model. I think we're going to need to fix this, Al, because we want them to get the tutor file. So I'm going to double check to make sure that we don't give them the whole thing. We really want that to be the tutor file. So I'll fix that. If we look at this one has the tutor file because I remember it has multiple options in it.
That's the video right there, Joe.
I know.
Yeah.
And so that's typically how I've been doing these exercises where I'll walk students through from the beginning to the end, how to create the geometry per the 20 projects books, how to go through and to use basic extrude commands. And so we go step by step, but the idea is that since this is an introductory course, we don't have any requirements on it, that we will show you what you need to be able to do, everything you need to be able to do that project. So that's the tape dispenser project. Let's go back to our main splash page. And then if we take a look at the other links here, here's the PDF. And so the PDF of the tape dispenser will give us the dimensions Again, make sure you use the metric title block when you draw these so that when we import them into the slicer, they're not microscopic. Sometimes people will do them in inches, and then we have to scale them up by 25.4 times. And you're to do the body of the tape dispenser, and you're also to do this roller that holds the tape dispenser. And so it walks you through. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. So it walks you through starting off with a rectangle and then editing that geometry, adding some fillets in here, and then extruding it 40 millimeters. And then we'll make a clearance. We'll make a couple of cuts in it. This is a little bit difficult, but I show that pretty well on the CAD video, how to do that. And then we can go through and model the holder for the tape dispenser. And it's really a nice tape dispenser. I've had a few of them. You're welcome to brand them and logo them. So we've had a few of the projects now where we've shown you how to put text on it and then how to use the bonus tools to explode that text so that you can then embed your name into it or add a logo. All right.
If you click on the green ones, the content, and that brings you back to the content automatically. And you can go down to unit, and there it is.
Oh, perfect. So let's look at this drawing file. I think this is the one we want. Let's see. Nope, this is still the, we want to basically go and find the tutor.
By accident, and I can correct it later on.
Right. We've also done it on SolidWorks. So if you're a SolidWorks user, we love SolidWorks, but from a standpoint of being able to run the course, we decided to run it with the AutoCAD and SolidWorks, but all the videos are, most of the videos are AutoCAD. All right, back to the main splash page. So that's this week's quick review. As we go through and we take a look at things, you should go through the Mastering 3D Printing textbook. The textbook, if you did not get yours from Amazon, we have scanned in the first few chapters. And so you can go through the Mastering 3D Printing and Prototyping, and you can take a look at Chapter 1, 3D printer hardware and software. And this basically goes through and talks about what 3D printing is, additive manufacturing. Everything in the textbook, chapters 1 through 3, is fair game for the midterm. So do take some time and read through the textbook. Most of our classes, students like to do the hands-on applications, but we do want to tie that into the textbook theory. And it's a good textbook. It goes through quite a bit of information on there. So that's the textbook, covers chapters 1 through 3. Here's our latest project. Don't forget, the test is next week. And that's pretty much it for our Zoom meeting today. If there's anything that I missed out, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and open this. We're going to end this recording and open it up for questions.
No, I think we covered everything we had to cover for this time.
All righty then. We'll see you online next week.